everything we're doing is fighting the fight. You know, whether we wanted to or not, from the moment that the colonizer turned up at our door, whether it was with the gun or with the missionaries or with some kind of thing to bribe, you know, them ones, and you know, a lot of the time they came dying and struggling because they're in parts of the world that they're not meant to be in, and they couldn't deal with the heat or whatever else, and the parasites or whatever, you know what I mean? You know the word Mzungu, East African word for white people, right? So when I spent some time in Uganda, and the brothers out there, this word Mzungu, a lot of East Africans, they'll say this word for white people, and the actual meaning, one of the brothers told me, is it's a traveller who's lost their way. Right. So they'll come into their community as a traveller who lost their way. They help them, feed them, clothe them, bring them back to health, and then man will be like, "Yo, bring in the troops." You know what I'm saying? So it's like
that's what they do.
Right, it's what they do, right? It's literally what they do, right? And so from them times there, we've been at war, whether we want to acknowledge that or not, right? Whether we want to sit in London, you know what I mean, knowing what happens to us here, not knowing what happens to us here, do you know what I mean? And we're behind enemy lines, we're in a state of war, right? So we're constantly fighting this battle, and that battle isn't necessarily fought with guns or knives or spears or whatever, right? It's a spiritual war, it's a metaphysical war that we're in, it's a political war, do you know what I mean, right? And I've had to learn as well that biting up the enemy ain't the only way to deal with a war. Do you know? And them ones like bringing your people together, knowing who your enemy even is. Do you know? And them ones, because you know, I feel like it goes without saying nowadays, but it's not all white people we're at war with. It's not all anyone, right? There is a specific class of people who are running everything, and they're never on the front line of any war.
That's right.
They're sat in a boardroom or in their yard,
that's right,
their mansion somewhere else, pressing buttons and making decisions. You know, them ones, and that's the enemy.
Yeah.
Right? They're the ones who sent them Mzungus. Do you know them ones, right?
That's right.